Nothing is everything. Whoa.
Sarah's is on the Behind the Table podcast. Today, we want you all to have a great day. Everybody take a little time to enjoy the view. And, you know, don't let this crazy get you down. We're in this together, and we'll get through it together. We'll see you tomorrow.
30 years living that Washington, D.C. lifestyle. That'll change a person. Getting rich from insider stock trading should be illegal. But Susan Collins doesn't think so. Susan Collins wants to keep it so senators can play the stock market, make millions of dollars doing that. Why we struggle to pay for gas, groceries, health insurance, the basics. For them to get all that money, why we're paying more, it's not right. It's not right. Tell Susan Collins to stop this congressional stock trade.
I love working in news. When viewers turn on our show, they literally invite us into their homes, and that's truly an honor. Every day, we strive to bring you the stories that impact your life, and I take that job very seriously because I care about our community. I am proud to have called Maine home for well over a decade now, and I'll always make sure we bring you the news that matters to you.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
A plane with smoke in the cockpit made an emergency landing in Bangor yesterday. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. Police are asking for the public's help in locating a missing Aroostook County man, and the ICE agent who shot and killed a man in Biddeford earlier this month is under review. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Tuesday afternoon. It's a nice one out there with a lot of clear skies. We are going to be watching for a few clouds that will be developing during the afternoon period as we watch for our next system that is off toward the west. There it is right there. That will be tracking off towards the east coming up in due time. We're also watching this system that is moving away from us now. This system eventually will be bringing with it some precipitation. In due time, we do also have some fog that will be developing overnight. We also have some more clouds that will be on the way. There it is right there. And that will also bring the fog that will be on the way. So visibility will be tough as we head towards your Wednesday. So definitely be ready for that and allow some extra time to get to your destination. The precipitation for your Wednesday will stay off toward your west. But for now, today, a nice one. Mid-80s, partly cloudy and breezy with that south wind getting up to about 25 miles per hour. Overnight, we have the clouds, upper 50s for the overnight low. The fog moves in with that southeast wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy and breezy with low 80s for the high. Southeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Hourly forecast this afternoon, lots of sunshine with some clouds with temperatures in the 80s and 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. A Swiss International Airlines flight headed to New York was forced to make an emergency landing in Bangor Monday afternoon. It happened after the crew reported smoke in the cockpit. Our Alex Schley spoke with passengers about what they say happened on board.
292 souls on board, 10,000 pounds of fuel remaining. Reporting an active fire in the cockpit, not able to put it out.
Just after 12 o'clock Monday afternoon, a Swiss International Airline Airbus A330 en route from Zurich, Switzerland to New York's JFK Airport diverted to Bangor.
The pilot came over and said, we've got an emergency, that there's smoke in the cabin.
Passengers and coach told our reporters that while they didn't see or smell anything, it quickly became apparent that something was wrong.
The entertainment center went off completely, it went black, and then all of a sudden we noticed the plane going a bit faster, and Joshua noticed that it was turning, and then obviously we started going down. I was like, this is not normal, seeing the flaps go up and how far out we were.
Passengers say from there, the events transpired quickly.
So it was probably about 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
So you were far?
Yeah, we literally just went from there straight down to the ground.
It was a quick descent. My ears were starting to pop.
Once on the ground, passengers say they waited on the runway for about 2 hours while emergency crews inspected the aircraft.
We just know that the fire brigade were coming on board. They said they wanted to come on board and check. They checked the plane, make sure it was okay. The pilot wasn't happy for the plane to continue because they don't know where the smoke came from. So they've just sort of said, we're just going to wait and speak to Zurich.
Just after 3 o'clock, the aircraft pulled into the international gate, where passengers disembarked, cleared customs, and were escorted to the domestic terminal. Passengers say the airline booked them on a replacement flight that's scheduled to leave Bangor around 6 o'clock Monday night. In a statement, a spokesperson from the airline said in part, quote, "At this time, we cannot yet say with certainty what may have caused the smoke. In a situation like this, we take no risks, which is why our crews always choose the safest course of action and act out of an abundance of caution." While the cause remains under investigation, nearly 300 passengers are expected to make it to New York by the end of the day. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The driver facing charges for allegedly hitting a family during Loon Fest in Lincoln is back in custody just days after posting bail. Lincoln police say Carl Hartley of Mattawamkeag was arrested on Sunday for allegedly leading police on a chase and then crashing into a cruiser. Our Grace Blanchard has the details.
A man accused of running over a family in Lincoln is facing new charges. Lincoln police say 57-year-old Carl Hartley of Mattawamkeag fled from officers following reports of erratic driving. A chase ensued and ended with Hartley allegedly striking a police cruiser in a parking lot. Nobody was injured. Hartley was arrested on several charges, including operating under the influence of drugs and violating bail conditions.
About a week ago, last Saturday, he was involved in a vehicle crash that hit several pedestrians during Loon Fest.
According to police, Hartley had been released from jail on bail in connection to the crash that injured a family of 4 only days before this latest arrest.
I'm sure it's frustrating to the people, especially people in Lincoln, that were very frustrated last week that this happened, and now we're dealing with a situation where, you know, he hit a police car, he could have hurt somebody.
Under Maine law, most standard bail violations are Class E misdemeanors rather than felonies. Chief Miller attributes that lack of deterrence to the rising number of repeat offenders.
Yeah, certainly it's not something that the municipalities are going to solve or law enforcement's going to solve. We just can follow what basically we're given for those laws and case law and that sort of thing. So we certainly have to follow that part of it. So, but certainly for us it can be frustrating.
Bail was set at $10,000 for the new offenses. However, he remains in custody without bail on the alleged violation of conditions. In Lincoln, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Police are asking for the public's help in locating a missing Aroostook County man. 43-year-old Jason Kirschman was last seen in October 2019. He was last known to be in the Boundary Line Road area of Hamlin. Kirschman is described as a white male, about 5 feet 10 inches tall and approximately 170 pounds. He has brown hair and blue eyes. Anyone with information is asked to call the Maine State Police at 1-800-924-2261. We now know that the U.S. Senate race in Maine is officially set, as former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson will be the Democrat who faces off with Republican incumbent Susan Collins. All eyes now turn to the general election this November. We spoke with University of Maine Political Science Chair Mark Brewer about the implications for this weekend's convention and Jackson's victory. He says Jackson's the most independent immediate challenge will be getting up to speed, both in terms of fundraising and messaging, which will be no easy task.
As a first-time Senate candidate, you don't just snap your fingers and get the equivalent of a 5-term United States senator who's running for a 6th. You just don't do that. So it's a matter of time, I suppose, to a certain degree. Which, again, given that we're less than 100 days, Jackson doesn't have the luxury of.
Brewer stressed that while there is a mostly disadvantage for him, he says Jackson does have a legitimate shot.
This is still anybody's race, right? You know, this idea that because of all of the things that have happened to the Democrats, that this race is now locked down for Collins and the Republicans, that's just not true, right? This is still anybody's race to win.
In other news, Senator Angus King is introducing legislation to protect elections from interference and tampering. The Shield Our Elections Act would allow state attorneys general and impacted voters to sue when federal officials unlawfully intervene with or intimidate them at polling places. King says it strengthens accountability by extending the statute of limitations from 5 years to 9 for key federal election crimes. That includes interference by armed forces and voter intimidation. The law would allow legal actions to be brought by future administrations for past actions. It also protects ballots from improper seizure by limiting when state or federal law enforcement may seize ballots or election equipment. Senator King says, quote, "This Shield Our Elections Act reinforces those fundamental principles in sustaining public faith in elections that are conducted fairly, impartially, and constitutionally while strengthening accountability for those who attempt to undermine our electoral system." The ICE agent who shot and killed a man in Biddeford earlier this month is under review. 37-year-old David Brulette shot and killed 25-year-old Johann Sebastian Duran Guerrero on his way to work 2 weeks ago. Brulette's exes told the Associated Press that he has a history of violent behavior. As Sam DaCosta reports, a top White House official claims that should have been flagged in his background check.
ICE has about 30,000 employees. They all go through vetting, and this is a kind of a rare instance.
Every time someone applies to ICE to carry a badge and a gun, the agency investigates each person's character and conduct. White House border czar Tom Homan says the vetting process is meant to spot red flags.
Did the vetting process fail? Was that information not available? Did they not know? So there's a separate administrative investigation on what happened here.
The man identified as the involved agent by his ex-partners, David Brulette, does not have a criminal record in Maine. But if he indeed had a history of domestic violence and mental health struggles, Holman says it still should have been noticed. I reached out to the Department of Homeland Security and asked if these allegations are true, why weren't they caught? DHS did not give us a direct answer, saying it will not identify the agent. The response in part, quote, "Our law enforcement officers are on the front lines arresting terrorists, gang members, murderers, pedophiles, and rapists. Publicizing their identities puts their lives and the lives of their families at serious risk." It's the same response they gave us last week. We also spoke with Darren Mott, a former FBI special agent. He says ICE agents are not inherently violent, but they often work in volatile environments.
They're 99.7% of the time good people looking to do the right thing for the right reason at the right time. Was this the right thing at the right time? We won't know until the investigation is complete.
Holman also noted ICE is reviewing its internal training for new recruits. But Holman says if Brulette's alleged history is true,
I don't think he should ever cleared vetting.
We have some breaking news. Police are actively searching for an armed individual in Belfast. They say shortly after 8 a.m. they received a report of a burglary on the east side of Belfast. That suspect fled into a wooded area between Swan Lake Avenue and Chickadee Circle. Belfast Police Department and the Maine State Police are actively searching that area. And between Swan Lake Ave, Patterson Hill, and Kaler Roads, residents are being asked to shelter in place at this hour and be vigilant. They are being asked to report anything or anyone they think are suspicious to the Waldo County Communications Center at 338-2040 or call 911. Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, there are mixed messages about the war with Iran. We'll have details when we return.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
After she was injured on the turnpike, Tricia knew she had only one opportunity to call the Maine law firm with the resources and experience her case required.
Joe Bornstein took over my case and didn't take any nonsense from the insurance companies. I felt like I was dealing with the best lawyers on earth.
Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for injured Mainers for over 50 years.
I call that success. If you want the best, call Joe.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein. Accidents happen to be their specialty.
Susan Collins broke her promise to protect Roe v. Wade. When Donald Trump called, she cast the deciding vote for his Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. And she voted to put more than 100 Trump judges on the bench. States are banning abortion without exceptions, and women are dying. But Susan Collins says,
I do not regret that vote.
Tell Susan Collins to stop breaking her word. Stop voting for Trump's anti-choice judges.
Imagine stepping onto your brand new deck, enjoying all the benefits of your expanded outdoor living space. Hammond Lumber Company can help turn that vision into reality. Visit any of Hammond's expansive showrooms and explore a world of possibilities. The timeless beauty of wood, the resilience of composite or affordable durable PVC. Railing options from traditional wood to sleek aluminum and contemporary cable railing. On-site consultation and delivery are available. Get started on your new deck when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Live from the Maine Lobster Festival in Rockland, it's the Lobster Crate Races. Watch fearless racers dash across floating lobster crates. Will they make it or take a spectacular splash? Who will stay on their feet and who will take the plunge? Don't miss the Lobster Crate Races live from the Maine Lobster Festival, Sunday, August 2nd at 2 p.m. only on Fox 22.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
The U.S. and Iran are sending mixed messages on peace talks. President Trump is saying the U.S. is in very deep talks with Iran, but says he'll return to war if they fail. Iran denies any talks are happening at all. Now concerns are growing inside the U.S. military over escalating the war. ABC's Rachel Scott has more.
We are now entering the 6th month into this conflict, and there is still no clear end in sight. And this morning, a bit of whiplash. President Trump says that the United States has started a new round of talks with Iran after the U.S. concluded about nearly 2 weeks of straight attacks on the country. But the president is sending mixed messages on when exactly he wants to see a deal. So initially he said that he is not going to give Iran much time. But then just a few hours later, the president said that he had a lot of patience. President Trump decided to hold off on a massive escalation in Iran to pursue this path of diplomacy. And sources tell me that came after a meeting here at the White House. The president meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance, top military advisors. Inside that meeting, sources say that the vice president, along with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, raised some concerns about an escalation. And among those concerns was the diminishing stockpile of munitions, including air defense interceptors, which of course are aimed at protecting our troops and allies there in the region. Now, President Trump, in a statement to ABC News, says that the United States has far more munitions than anyone else in the world. And in just a few hours here at the White House, the president will be meeting, of course, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is in town for Senator Lindsey Graham's funeral. Of course, it was Israel and the U.S. that decided to launch this operation together. And even some Republicans over on Capitol Hill have concerns that the United States might be dragged further into this conflict with the midterm elections less than 100 days away.
A 7.1 magnitude earthquake hit Japan's southern region today. Dozens are injured after the earthquake knocked out power, split roads, and trapped people inside a partially collapsed shopping mall. Japan's prime minister says the aftermath is still being assessed. A decade ago, the city of Kumamoto was devastated by 2 consecutive earthquakes. Japan is one of the world's most earthquake-prone countries. A tremor occurs at least every 5 minutes there. Multiple tornadoes, heavy rain, and strong winds left a trail of destruction in the Midwest. Particularly hard hurt Wisconsin and Illinois, where thousands of people are now cleaning up in the aftermath. As ABC's Rena Roy reports, the storms are now heading east.
New video shows the widespread damage left behind in Illinois after powerful storms ripped through the Midwest. In the Chicago area, you can see roofs completely torn off, trees toppled over, and debris scattered all over. Heavy rainfall triggering flash flooding and leaving a trail of destruction.
It's like some huge dinosaur just stomped on everything.
In Wisconsin, the National Weather Service preliminarily estimating an EF2 tornado.
Oh my God!
Packing winds of at least 111 miles per hour, hitting the cities of Appleton and Menasha. Power lines toppled, businesses destroyed, including this bakery.
Our whole house started shaking. I thought for sure we were going to meet the Wizard of Oz.
You couldn't see a foot in front of the window. The rain was going sideways.
The mayor of Menasha declaring a local state of disaster. Drone video shows entire communities impacted. Home after home flattened to the ground.
I headed down to the basement, and when I come up, it's like a war zone here.
More than 500,000 customers were without power across the region Monday as the storms rolled through. Air travel also impacted, with more than 1,600 flights canceled nationwide. The same system moving east, you can see roads flooded in New Jersey, cars navigating the deep water.
Now, flood watches are in effect today here on the East Coast along the I-95 corridor from Philadelphia to New York. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
After the break, the Bangor Red Cross is looking for blood donors. We'll be right back.
You know what today is? It's Tuesday. Just reminding you that whatever day of the week you get hurt, we're your go-to lawyers. If you've been hurt, call us right now.
Hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Hello, this is George Whelan, founder of Down East Direct Cremation. Over the years, you have come to trust Down East Direct Cremation as your cremation experts, creating the standard for simple, affordable, and respectful cremation care. Through these times of turbulent economy, COVID, rising energy costs, and inflation, Down East Direct Cremation has maintained our price. Unfortunately, due to the ever-increasing cost of doing business, I have been left with no other choice than to raise our price, effective September 8th, 2026. I am sorry. Of course, all current guaranteed mortuary trust agreements will be honored with no additional charges. You or anyone who is thinking of prepaying with Down East Direct Cremation will have until then to lock in our current price of $975 complete. For more information or to schedule an in-store appointment, please call us or prepay online using the button exclusively at downeastdirectcremation.com.
Situated in Jonesboro on the coast of Maine lies Barren View Golf Course, a true links course that's a treat for golfers of all skill levels. We feature a driving range, putting green, practice sand trap, pro shop, and snack bar. Open 7 days a week. Please call ahead for a tee time.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in pet orthics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot, with fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Are your gutters weighed down by debris causing them to sag and overflow? I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems. Clogged gutters lead to costly repairs for your home, so skip the cleaning and stop the clogs with Gutter Shutter. Gutter Shutter, the world's best gutter, is a high-performance gutter with a lifetime no-clog guarantee. Stop the clutter, get Gutter Shutter. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
AI can be a good tool for children, but it's important that they use it safely. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
A recent JAMA study found a third of U.S. youth from ages 4 to 17 years old use AI. AI can promote healthy development by helping kids brainstorm, create, and summarize. However, it can also be dangerous if the correct precautions aren't taken. According to the American Psychological Association, there are several ways for parents to help their kids use AI carefully. Firstly, you should talk to your children about AI. Help them understand that chatbots should not be replacing their human connections. Parents can also create age-appropriate changes in the settings. They're usually defaults involving content and privacy, which parents can revise. Even simply reminding children not all AI-generated content is accurate and can contain misinformation is constructive. By understanding both the benefits and risks of AI, everyone can use it to its full potential. With this Medical Minute, I'm Alex Stone.
The Bangor Red Cross is seeking blood donors 2 weeks after the organization declared a nationwide emergency blood shortage. The American Red Cross announced the emergency shortage on July 13th. The organization says the national blood supply fell 25% last month, and it hasn't seen enough donations over the summer to keep up with demand. prompting the second ever national blood crisis in Red Cross history. Executive Director at the Red Cross of Northern and Eastern Maine, Caroline King, says that donating blood is critical to provide relief to local hospitals and healthcare organizations, and it's easy to do.
There is not enough blood on the shelf, and there are not enough people making appointments to donate blood. So we are worried that this is going to start to impact patient care. Blood, so please make an appointment if you're able and eligible to give blood. It's an hour. It's quick, it's easy, doesn't hurt. You need someone to hold your hand, I'm always available.
King says the Bangor Blood and Donor Center, located at 900B Hammond Street, has recently been renovated and will be open from 11 to 7 today. They encourage the public to schedule an appointment by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS, visiting redcrossblood.org, or the Red Cross Donor app. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
I got hurt in this accident and I need help, but I don't have money to hire a lawyer.
If you've been hurt, we can take your case for free, and you don't owe us a penny unless we win. A free call and a free consultation could set you free from your car accident problems.
I made a free call to Lowry Law and they got me $400,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do? Call 222-2222.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. No advisories to worry about right now. We're at around 2 to 3 feet according to the buoy, so nothing on land or on sea either. Wave heights are rather down. And in fact, farther out towards sea, we're at around 3 to 6 feet according to the buoys farther out at this moment in time. Water temperatures look like this. We are in the middle 60s at this moment in time. So again, we're looking pretty good. A little bit cooler depending on where you're at. Upper 50s right there. Upper 60s according to this buoy, and lower 70s farther down toward the south. So overall, ocean temperatures are looking fairly reasonable. So on land for us, again, we're looking good. Lots of sunshine. A few clouds developing this afternoon. We are going to be watching for our next system. There it is right there. That is going to be moving in from west to east slowly, and that's going to be giving us some showers and thunderstorms coming up soon. A lot more activity further off towards the west, but for now, we're looking pretty good and pretty quiet. But we are going to have more clouds moving in later on tonight, along with some fog, and that will continue to build in as we head towards Wednesday morning. So kind of a dreary one out there as we head towards your Wednesday. The storms are going to stay away for now, even through Wednesday night, but once we head towards your Thursday, we are still going to watch for the clouds and a little bit of a break, too, from time to time later on to the forecast. But for now, today's UV index forecast will be at a 7. That is high. That means a burn time of 30 minutes. So with the sunshine today, it is going to be easy to get a sunburn. So hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and shade will be necessary to avoid getting a bad sunburn. So for today, here's what we got. So partly cloudy and breezy with highs in the mid-80s and a south wind at about 25 miles per hour. We add the clouds, we add the fog into the picture tonight with lows in the upper 50s and a southeast wind at about 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, low 80s, mostly cloudy. It will still be breezy out there. You may catch a break from time to time, but it will be tough to come by with, again, that wind picking up out of the southeast at around 25 miles per hour. Let's check out that extended forecast. Showers and storms move in on Thursday with highs in the low 70s, and we keep those storms going for your Friday with highs in the low 80s as well. But the good news is we do dry out on Saturday, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-80s.
Thank you, Devin. The internationally beloved Japanese macaw Punch celebrates turning 1. Hundreds of birthday cards from around the world are on display at the city's Zoological and Botanical Garden near Tokyo. Zoo officials say Punch was abandoned by his mother after his birth and was then nursed by zookeepers who gave him a stuffed orangutan to train him to cling. Officials say newborn macaws need to be able to cling to survive. Photos and video of the tiny Punch holding onto and dragging that much bigger stuffed animal went viral and brought more than 90,000 visitors to the zoo in March alone. Punch turned 1 on Sunday. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
At the Challenger Learning Center of Maine, our mission to inspire Maine students has never been stronger. Our newly renovated facility is open and ready to launch. We have upgraded simulator rooms, refreshed learning spaces, and new hands-on STEM experiences. Check out our exciting upcoming events for students, educators, and families. There's always something happening at Challenger. Ready for liftoff? Explore what's new and what's next at the Challenger Learning Center of Maine. Visit astronaut.org for details.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.